Somewhere on your journey, maybe after a spiritual breakthrough, maybe after a painful collapse, you felt something shift. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. It was subtle, like the universe pressed mute. You saw through the illusions, the noise, the chase, and then silence. At first, that silence felt like freedom, a clean horizon, a breath your soul had waited a lifetime to exhale. But slowly, almost imperceptibly, that clarity dissolved, not into chaos, but into emptiness, a strange numbness, a quiet detachment, a sense that life's volume turned all the way down and forgot to come back up, and the question began whispering, why do I feel empty now that I finally woke up? If you've been here, this is your video. Stay with me until the end, because what you're experiencing is not depression, not failure, and not spiritual regression. Carl Jung warned about this exact phase. He said it's the moment your old identity dies before your new one is born. This script will take you deep into that forgotten stage of awakening, the phase almost nobody talks about, and by the end, you'll understand exactly why your motivation vanished and how to reclaim a different, deeper flame. Before we begin, tap subscribe if you're drawn to psychology, soul work, and awakening. This channel exists to guide you through the thresholds of transformation most people walk through alone. All right, let's go in. Part 1. The quiet collapse after awakening. There's a myth that awakening fills you with passion and purpose. But many people, especially empaths, highly intuitive minds, and deep feelers, experience the opposite. They awaken, and then they empty out. A friend of mine once described it perfectly. She was obsessed with all the right books: Eckhart Tolle, Alan Watts, Krishna, Murthy, always searching, always seeking. Then she had her awakening, a real one, a silent dismantling. She said she suddenly saw through the illusion of ego and achievement. She understood how false the chase was. But 2 months later, she was staring at her ceiling, barely able to move. She told me, I used to cry because I wasn't accomplishing enough. Now I don't care if I accomplish anything at all. I thought awakening would ignite me, not flatten me. Jung predicted this. He didn't use the trendy spiritual language we use today. He spoke in psychological terms. But he understood what happens when the unconscious becomes conscious. He said, enlightenment is not imagining figures of light, but making the darkness conscious. It sounds poetic until the darkness arrives. Because awakening is not an arrival. It's a death, not a physical one, a psychological one. The death of who you thought you were, what used to motivate you, the values you inherited, the goals that kept you running, the identity you spent decades constructing. And when that scaffolding collapses, the ego doesn't vanish. It simply loses its map. And when the map disappears, motivation collapses with it. You're not broken. You're not lazy. You're not failing. You're in limbo. You awaken from something, but you haven't awakened into the next thing yet. This state has a name, and we're going there next. But first, if you're still watching, you're exactly the kind of person this channel was created for. Tell us in the comments. Part 2, the sacred pause Jung warned about. Jung said the most dangerous part of transformation is the void. He called it the intermediate stage, the in-between space where the ego dissolves, but the deeper self hasn't yet taken the throne. Modern spirituality avoids this phase. Our world avoids this phase. Everything today is urgency, production, goals, hustle, manifest now. High vibes only. But the psyche moves in seasons. And there is a winter of the soul. Jung said the unconscious needs silence, sometimes forced silence, to rise. So what feels like loss, numbness, apathy, or demotivation is actually a sacred recalibration. It's your psyche shutting down old pathways so new ones can form. Think of it like a computer rebooting after a major update. The screen goes black. It looks dead, but the system is reconfiguring everything beneath the surface. You're not failing, you're rebuilding. In myth, this is a descent. The hermit phase. The cocoon. The caterpillar dissolves into formless soup before it becomes a butterfly. Inside cocoon, there is no identity, no motivation, no clarity, just transformation. Yes, it feels like nothing is happening, but that's only because everything is happening. Part 3. Why your old motivation is gone and why it should be. Let me say something you may need to hear. You didn't lose motivation. You outgrew the fuel that powered it. Most of your previous drive came from the ego's persona, the version of you designed to perform, achieve, fit in, or prove something. You chased approval, validation, safety, identity, purpose, belonging, not because you were shallow, because you're human. But when awakening strips the persona, the goals tied to it feel fake. Suddenly, the job, the hustle, the 5-year plan, the external achievements, none of it stirs you anymore, because those goals were meant for a different you, and that version of you is gone. Your ego isn't dead, it's just confused. It doesn't know what it's supposed to want anymore. This is why you feel directionless, not because you're lost, but because your soul refuses to let you go back to a life that no longer fits. Part 4. Jung's enantiodromia. When life flips into its opposite, Jung had a word for this stage: enantiodromia, the moment when things swing into their opposite. For decades you were running, chasing, striving, doing. Then suddenly you are pushed into stillness, not because you chose to, but because the psyche demands balance. You go from, I must accomplish everything, to, why accomplish anything? This isn't burnout. It's alchemy. The pendulum swings to the other extreme, so the system can find equilibrium. Every myth, every spiritual tradition, every ancient story describes this. Christ in the desert, Buddha under the tree, the shamanic death, the withdrawal of the hermit. This phase isn't glamorous. It doesn't fit into Instagram quotes. It won't get 1,000 likes. It looks like sitting quietly while the world rushes by. It looks like losing interest in everything. It looks like numbness. It looks like emptiness. And Jung would gently tell you, you are not stuck. You are becoming. Part 5, Shadow Integration, the part most people skip. Here's the truth. Most people awaken, but never integrate. They taste clarity, but avoid the darkness. They see a glimpse of truth, but resist the work. So they float, they numb, they detach, they bypass reality. You've probably seen this, people saying, none of this matters. It's all illusion. I'm above it. I don't care about anything anymore. This is an awakening. It's escape. Jung said that if you reject the shadow, you reject the goal within it. The numbness you feel isn't a problem. It's a signal. It's the psyche saying, I need space to bring up what you've buried. This is the part of the process that actually transforms you. Your system collapses the old so you can meet your real desires, your real wounds, your real fears, your real truth. It's not comfortable. It's not exciting, but it is essential. This is where your deeper self begins to rise. And if this resonates, write shadow in the comments. Part 6, the slow return of a different motivation. Then quietly, slowly, gently, something begins to stir. Not the old motivation, not that anxious fire, not the hustle-driving energy. A different kind of movement, a soul-led pull, not dramatic, not loud, more like remembering. Motivation returns, but it feels calmer, deeper, quieter, more aligned, more honest. You're not pushed anymore. You're drawn. You don't chase. You respond. You don't perform. You express. You don't follow a plan. You follow resonance. This is where Jung said the self, the true center of your psyche, begins to lead your life. Not the ego, not the persona, not the wounds, but the deeper truth of who you are. And that's when life transforms. Part 7, what life looks like when the self leads. You start noticing subtle shifts. You create even when no one is watching. You say no to things that drain you. You gravitate toward what feels meaningful. You trust your intuition more. You stop betraying yourself to meet expectations. You follow curiosity instead of pressure. And most importantly, you stop trying to dominate life and start participating with it. This doesn't mean life gets easy. It means life becomes honest. Ambition doesn't disappear. It evolves. It becomes devotion, presence, integrity, alignment, a sacred yes. That's the kind of energy that builds real things. Not from fear, but from truth. If you're feeling this shift already, let me know in the comments. Your story might help someone who's silently struggling. Part 8. You haven't lost your spark. You're becoming someone new. Let me speak directly to you now. If you feel like your spark is gone after awakening, it isn't gone. It's transforming. The old fire burned out because it was never meant to sustain you. Its job was to get you this far. And now a deeper flame is taking its place. One that doesn't depend on external validation, constant achievement, fear, pressure, identity, or survival. This flame is rooted in wholeness, not performance. And you are stepping into it, slowly, silently, powerfully. This isn't the end of your awakening. It's the beginning of your becoming. If this helped you see your journey more clearly, tell me in the comments what part resonated most. I read every comment, and your story matters. And if you want more content like this, more Jung, more awakening psychology, more soul-level clarity, go ahead and subscribe to Insightful Elders, because awakening isn't where your story ends. It's where the real story finally begins.